Hey, what's up guys? It's LDJ Writes here and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, I am a fantasy and science fiction writer who has been working on a large-scale world building project that I call the Eternal Keyverse. Now, I'm recording this video at the end of 2024 and that means 2025 is almost upon us. And one thing that I wanted to do ahead of this upcoming year is to kind of jot down some of my goals for the first portion of the year and see if I can stick to them. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. I'm going to be showing you guys my Notion planner that I have planned out for the whole year. But in this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the first 3 months of the year, January, February, and March. I have a couple of projects that I want to work on and a couple of smaller things that I also want to touch upon. So yeah, if you guys are working on planning out your 2025, let me know what your plans are in the comments, and yeah, let's get into the video. So I have set up my Notion template and I've divided it into 4 separate categories, 4 quarters, dividing up the year by month. So it's a bit hard for me to conceptualize my whole year, all 12 months in advance, because I'm not sure which projects I'm going to be wanting to work on after I finish the Ivory Crypt and after I finish the revisions for Court of Rooks, because I've got a lot of ideas. I may make a separate video actually where I go into all these story ideas and different series ideas I have for the Eternal Keyverse, but because of that, I'm only going to be sticking to the first 3 months in this video. I think this may end up becoming a little mini series where I review my first quarter and then go into the second quarter goals and then so on and so forth. But yeah, as you guys can see, this is my Notion template. I've got it divided into January, February, and March. So let's get into my first couple of goals for January. The first project that I'm going to be working on for January is the Ivory Crypt. It is the 5th and final book in my fantasy series that I have been posting on Wattpad for the last couple of years. You guys can check those out. Links are always in the description. And yeah, gonna be working on that. I did write some of this book earlier in 2024. From about, I think, May to June, I wrote 22,000 words, 7 chapters. So the books in this series tend to range between 90 and 100K. So take 20K off 90K, I have about 70 to 80,000 words. So I want to get this first draft finished up in 2 months. So for January, I want to write at least 35,000 words of the Ivory Crypt. So yeah, that's my first goal for 2025. And I also signed up for a short story contest that I found online. It was $28 to sign up, but if I win, or not even if I win, if I place in the top 10 or even the honorable mentions, I get some sort of cash prize. So like, in a way, I'm pretty sure as long as I submit something, I'm going to be a winner. So yeah, and I also signed up for this because I want to, test my short story capabilities. I'm more of a long form storyteller. I'm not really good at writing short pieces, but I did take a short story writing class about 1.5 years ago, or maybe almost 2 years ago, and that was pretty fun. I did write a short story for that class, but it wasn't my best work, and I want to try and do it again. And I also want to try and get something published, which goes into the second goal of January, which is to plot and hold on, let me separate that. Plot / write a short story. Now, I currently don't have too many ideas for what I'm going to be writing about, but this short story contest runs from January 6th, and I don't know when the deadline is off the top of my head. I'll have to check the email, but I only get about a week to write my short story, which is kind of perfect because it gives me a deadline, and you guys know I need deadlines. But yeah, and I also plan on using whatever short story I write for this for my school's literary journal that I'm an editor for and that I'm also planning on submitting to. So then hopefully I'll have one piece published twice, and then I can say I'm officially a published writer. So yeah, that's my second goal for January. And then my third and final goal for January is to finalize my revision notes for Court of Rooks. Let's just make this uniform. And yeah, those are my 3 goals for January. 35K words of the Ivory Crypt, which I did the math earlier. I think that averages out to about 1,200 words a day, or maybe a little under that, which I can do. If I really sit down and focus, I think I can do that, because luckily my school workload is not as much as it was the last 2 semesters. I only have 4 classes, one of them's online, and I don't have classes on Friday. So I should have plenty of time to write this book. And I think I'm going to be very motivated to write this book because I really love this series. I love this world. I love the characters, and it's the last book. I gotta like hone in, I gotta lock in and make sure this is like one of the best things I've ever written. And with all the plot points that I have laid out, I'm pretty excited to get to work on the rest of this book. I really want to see it to the end, and I just can't wait to see what I can come up with. And yeah, the second goal for January is to plot and write a short story. Everything that I write takes place in the Eternal Keyverse. There's a lot of wiggle room for genre and stuff because it's such a massive universe. So whatever I write will take place in that universe. I want to come up with an idea, maybe write a brand new character that I haven't written about, or write something that takes place in a world that I haven't explored previously. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do for the short story. And last but not least, finalize my revision notes for Court of Rooks. Now, moving into February, same thing as January for the first goal. I want to write another 35K words of the Ivory Crypt. Hopefully, this last 35K words will see me finish the draft. And if it doesn't, then I'll just do a slash here and say, finish, I cannot spell, finish draft 1 of the Ivory Crypt. So that will be my main focus for February, finishing up the first draft of the Ivory Crypt, and then going on into my second goal of February, which is to begin revisions for Court of Rooks. And yeah, at the moment, I think these are going to be my only 2 goals for February, because February is already a shortened month and I'm pretty sure school is going to be picking up at this point. And also, these are pretty big tasks, and 35K words / finishing the first draft of the Ivory Crypt and beginning revisions for Court of Rooks. I have never written a book and revised another book at the same time, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I think those are going to be my only 2 goals for February. I don't want to load myself up with too many tasks because I'm just going over my writing goals in this video. I have other things that I want to do, like I want to be more consistent posting on Instagram. I want to get in the process of setting up a Patreon, which I plan to launch once I hit 1,000 subscribers. And I also want to put in motion a website where I will be posting other stuff that you guys will see later. But yeah, those are like some other goals I have, and these are just my writing goals for 2025. February is pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry, just 2 things that I want to work on for the most part. And next up, we have the last month of the quarter, which is March. And yeah, March, I pretty much want to be done with revisions for Court of Rooks. I want to be done with revisions, whatever that looks like. I'm not sure how many words I plan on adding or subtracting, or just how many edits I want to do. I don't think the book needs a crazy amount of work, but it definitely needs, you know, some new scenes, remove some scenes, cut the fat here, you know, make things tighter. So yeah, March, finish Court of Rooks revisions. Then I want to also start work on a new project, probably. March is kind of up in the air for me because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do after I finish the Ivory Crypt and after I finish Court of Rooks, because after I finish the Ivory Crypt, that will be the end of the series, and it'll be the second series that I've completed in the Eternal Keyverse, which means I have to make a decision on what the next series I want to start in this whole universe will be, because I have a large plan for the Eternal Keyverse, which culminates in a large 5-book series that I call the Convergence War. But in order to get there, I have to finish certain books first. So I actually just talked myself into what the next project I will be working on, that I'll be plotting and planning in March, which will be start work on the second book in my space opera slash science fantasy series that I call Elysium Rising. And the second book in that series is called Anarchist. So yeah, that's what the last goal of March will be. So not start a new project, start planning slash plotting Anarchist. And I think this is actually my first time talking about this series on my channel, so I'll give you guys a quick rundown. You guys can check out the first book on Wattpad. It's called Gladiator, and basically it follows the story of he's a young worker. He works in the salt mines in a galaxy far, far away, like Star Wars, I guess. But yeah, he is kind of like, he's not a slave, but he is a cog in the machine of the Empire that has been oppressing the galaxy for millions of years. And he finds himself having to be whisked away from his planet, and he has to fight in these gladiator games in order to save his mother. He finds himself in the middle of a conspiracy that involves the Empire, namely the Emperor and his wife-to-be, and he finds himself involved in the rebellion in one way or another. And I think that's all I'll say about the book right now. You guys can check that out on Wattpad if you're interested. But yeah, I'm going to be working on the second book in that series by the time quarter 2 rolls around. But by by the end of quarter 1, I want to have this book pretty much plotted out. So yeah, these are my writing goals for 2025. You guys can check them out on the screen. You guys can pause or zoom in or whatever if you guys want to like get the whole rundown. I may end up adding more goals or removing some goals or changing some things around as the year progresses, but I think this is a pretty good starting point for me. It's giving me something to look forward to, and I've never really structured out my year like this. I kind of just do whatever I want, which doesn't always work. That leads to me not finishing projects or jumping from one project to another, and then things get confused. And you know, I want to be more organized in 2025, and I think, you know, sticking to my Notion plan and actually making a plan in the first place is a good way to start on that. So yeah, that's my plan for the first quarter of 2025. Let me know in the comments what you guys plan on working on in the first couple of months of 2025. Are you guys working on a brand new story, or are you revising an old one? I would love to hear about what you guys are getting up to for the first 3 months in 2025. Let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to check those out. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys had a great 2024, and here's to an even better and more productive 2025. I've been LDJ Writes, and I'll see you guys next year. Peace.